In this video, I'm going to show you what I think is the most optimal settings for shooting the moon handheld. And before I get started, the camera and lens I'm going to be using is the Panasonic GH5 and the Panasonic Leica 100-400 f4 to 6.3. And also, you don't really need something of this price point. I get some pretty good shots with the Canon 800D with the 55-250 zoom kit lens. Okay, so let's get into the settings. First, and probably the most important, you're going to want to go into manual on your camera. And if you don't know how, turn the little camera mode dial to the letter M. Okay, so starting off on aperture, first you want to go to f6.3. If you are getting really bright images using my settings, you can lower this down if you want to. And for shutter speed, you want to go with 1/320th of a second. And that's because you want to really minimize your chances of having any camera shake in your image. And lastly, you want to go with your camera's native ISO, which will usually be ISO 100. And if your image is too dark or bright, here's some adjustments that can fix them. So let's say your image is way too dark. First, you want to start by lowering the shutter speed. The lowest you'll probably want to go is about 1/100th of a second. But if you have a tripod, then you can lower it much more. And if it's still too dark, you can lower the aperture to its lowest point. And if it's still too dark after that, then you can just bump the ISO up. And now let's say your image is too bright. In my opinion, this is a much better problem to have. So you have really two options to lower the brightness. One being increasing the shutter speed, and then two being increasing the aperture. In my opinion, what you should do is first lower your aperture to about f8 to f11. That's usually a sweet spot for a camera lens. And if it's still too bright after that, then you can increase the shutter speed. Okay, so now let's take some shots and see how they look. So I'm going to fully extend here at 400. Turn the camera on first. Put it into manual. So let's dial in our settings. So we got aperture is 6.3, shutter speed 1/320th of a second, and the ISO is 100. Okay, so let's put our eye up to the viewfinder so we have 3 points of contact. So that means you're more stable, basically. Let's try and find the moon. There it is. Autofocus. Okay, so we can take a look at that. And that actually looks pretty good. I'm just going to take another one in case that one might have been shaky. Another thing you can also do to minimize shake is to put it onto a burst mode. So basically you'll have more of an opportunity to get a really sharp image. So it's on burst right now. Okay. Hopefully those look pretty good. Let's take a look. So after you've reviewed all of your images and picked out the sharpest, you can add your basic corrections in Lightroom, Photoshop, or Camera Raw. I personally use Lightroom. So basically what I started by doing is cropping in a little bit. Then I just did a standard S-curve, which adds a lot of contrast. I sort of deepened the blacks a little bit, and I just added a little bit of sharpness. So if you like this video, please consider dropping a like down below and leaving a comment. As always, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Make sure to stick around for more videos coming up very soon.